Just past midnight East Coast time. I'm Scott Van Pelt. This is Ryan Clark alongside. And C.J. Stroud's a guy we talked about all year long on Countdown, on SportsCenter. Everybody talked about would he be ready for the close-up, ready for this moment? Yeah. I mean, he answers in a resounding fashion, yes, and he and Nico hook up on that very first play. I know there's a lot to show us. What best illustrates sort of who this guy's becoming?
Well, I think it's about the poise, the composure, but the execution in the big moments. And honestly, there's no bigger moment than that last drive, which we talked about, where they were he was 7 for 7. Right. But it's also the first play. Now, think about this. This is the Houston Texans. You haven't been to the playoffs since 2019, and this is the first snap of the game. You're going to get a deep crosser here by Dalton Schultz, and then you're going to run Nico Collins on a post route. Now, the guy that you're going to try to affect is the safety here who is playing quarters. You're going to want him to be attracted to Dalton Schultz, and if he is, you're going to throw the football over his head. Now watch, as it starts, he's going to go underneath, and so this should actually get the safety off of the coverage. But because he doesn't get off of the coverage, you're going to see, if you look in the backfield, you're going to get a nod to Schultz, and then the deep throw over the head to Nico Collins. It's hit him right in stride. There's no way you stop that play in a quarters coverage like that, especially if the safety doesn't give inside help. Now, I'm going to show you something. Sometimes you get these great plays and you think to yourself, oh my God, their coach is so good. Well, this time, Bobby wasn't right or the players wasn't right. We're going to get the same route. He going to go here. He going to go here. This dude's going to go here. He's going to go here. We're going to have a cluster fluff that C.J. Stroud is going to have to figure out. Now, when he gets in the pocket here, these dudes ain't open because these dudes is running the same route. He running this route. He running this route. I'm not sure how much football you know, but that ain't supposed to happen. But watch what C.J. Stroud does to manipulate the pocket and find Nico Collins as he's going to uncover here and streak across the field. Look at C.J. Stroud in the pocket. He backs up. He flips around. He throws the football. He leads him out. The diving catch by Nico. And then you saw already, Scott showed you, they had the great throw where he's in the pocket, stares down the barrel, hits Nico across the middle. But without that play, they don't get to that point.
He was brilliant on that last drive, but the missed extra point opened the door, and it meant that the Colts could win with a touchdown and a made extra point. Now, Steichen's been brilliant all year as a play caller. I thought Troy did a great job on the broadcast in reminding everybody, look, they throw in these situations, I believe, the second most in the NFL. And you made a really interesting point to me about who they target in those spots. Taylor's on the sideline, but that's what they do?
That's what they've been doing throughout the season. They throw the football, and they hit the unlikelies. Mo Alley Cox. 4th and 1, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They bring in a linebacker, Zaire Franklin, to play the fullback position. 4th and 1 against the Tennessee Titans. They run a jet sweep to Kylan Granson. And then now in this game, they come out the first snap. They don't snap the football. They put somebody in motion to see what the coverage is. It was man-to-man. Then you bring in Tyler Goodson, and you have the perfect pick route called. The football's a little bit behind him, and it's a miscatch. Now, here's the only pushback I will give Shane Steichen.
Okay.
Yep. Middle of the season against Tampa Bay, give it to Mo Alley Cox. A little bit later in the season against the Tennessee Titans early in the game, you can give it to Granson. When you get to these moments, players make plays. And if they could not stop Jonathan Taylor the whole day, you're going to have to show me that they can stop her for 1 yard right there.
He had 188 yards. I get that he left with a heel issue. I get that he had been on the field, and I get that he had just been stopped on 3rd and 2. But your point is, if you're about to go home if it doesn't work, I'm handing it to 28.
Scott, I got to go home being me. That's like you decide not to do bad beats one day and them taking you off the air.
If they stop, if they stop happening, I promise we'll stop doing it. But they don't stop happening. I hear you. That's it. But it could have worked. Almost worked.
It could have worked, but when you look at it, there's always going to be hindsight is 20/20. There's always going to be criticism. It was the right call. He had an opportunity to make a play, but those players have to convert there, and sometimes that's why guys get paid a little bit more.
And Gardner said I'd throw it to Goody over and over again. Wish I gave him a bit better ball. Man, that's a brutal way to have it go out. But the Texans earned the right to play on. Fresh off the broadcast, Joe Buck, the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman, join me now. And gentlemen, this really boils down to sports at its most basic, doesn't it? At the end of a dramatic game, you find yourself wondering, Did they make the right call? This is a team who ran for 227 yards, and on 4th and 1, they throw it to a man who hadn't touched it all night, and unfortunately for the Colts, he couldn't squeeze it. I'm interested in both your reaction on it. Joe, I'll start with you. What'd you think?
Well, I mean, you can quarrel with it, but he was wide open and would have picked up the first down if they end up connecting on that pass. The throw a little behind. Goodson didn't make the grab. So, yeah, I mean, that's just sports. And, you could make the other side of the argument and say, well, they've been running it down the field. They got the ground game going. They were well over 200 yards, and Taylor's been, plowing over guys. But the play was there, and they just didn't connect. And that's the way sports goes. And, in this case, it was a heck of a game. As Troy said at the beginning, it's too bad one of these teams had to walk out of here losing and out of the playoffs, but they put on quite a show here tonight.
Yeah, and Scott, I think you look at it and say, did they go outside of what they're about? And because when they've been in that situation, as I said, that they've thrown the ball in that situation the second most in the NFL. So it's true to what they are and what they've been, and it got them to this point. And when it doesn't work, there's no question that the play caller, Shane Steichen in this case, you question it. Whenever it doesn't work, you say, well, maybe I should have done this. And then those players, of course, Goodson and then Minshew, they'll be talking about it as well. But it's easy to go back and second guess. That's what we all do. But I didn't have an issue so much with the call. They just didn't get it executed. Exactly.
I mean, and certainly invites scrutiny, Joe and Troy, as you point out, when it doesn't work, but it was there. Even if he'd have fallen down, they'd have had a first down around a minute left. That's not what happened. The Texans get the victory. And Troy, we spoke all pregame long about C.J. Stroud and just how much he has impressed leading up to this night. But this is a win and you're in scenario on the road. That drive that gave them the lead, he's 7 for 7. I mean, some jaw-dropping throws. I ask you as a Hall of Fame quarterback, what most impressed you?
His poise is what has impressed me throughout the year. We were getting ready for a Jacksonville game weeks ago, and they had just come off of a win against the Houston Texans, and I found myself when I was watching Jacksonville's defense mesmerized by this rookie who I hadn't yet seen play this year, C.J. Stroud. He was phenomenal in that loss. But when you go back and you study him coming into this game, he's done what he did tonight really throughout the year, and it's uncommon to see a rookie do what he's been able to do. And he's played in big games, of course. When you play at Ohio State, you're used to the atmosphere and you're used to going up against great opponents. But you don't know how that's going to look when you get to this stage on this platform, and yet he showed the same kind of poise, never appeared rattled, starting with the first play of the game. And he's been phenomenal. He's 20 of 26. But with all that said, what impressed me the most, he never put the ball in harm's way, did not have an interception, and that's the key. That'll be the key next week when they go into the wild card round. So I'm a fan of what he's been able to do. I will also point out Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator, he deserves a tip to the hat as well for the way that his young rookie quarterback has played this year.
Joe, I want to close with this, man. A real quick thought. Maybe it's loser talk, but I don't see how you could view this season, no matter what happens next week for Houston, as being a massive win. They've been a punchline. They're in the playoffs. Win, lose, or draw next week, it's got to be seen as a gigantic arrow next to their name up, right?
Absolutely, and it's been almost a total house cleaning, which you hate to say when you're talking about people, but that's what it's been, at least as far as administratively, for Nick Caserio, the general manager. He's in his third year. Only 7 guys are left on their roster from when he took over, and they've got so much young talent. They had a good draft last year. They had an unbelievable draft this year. And it's cool to see that the right people were picked really on both sides, and both teams come out of this game knowing that they have their quarterback of the future. We have to wait for Anthony Richardson. He'll be coming off an injury and shoulder surgery, but 2 young stars and 2 players that these 2 fan bases are going to watch for a long time.
Scott, let me also just add that you've got a first-time head coach. You've got a first-time play caller. And you've got a rookie quarterback. This isn't supposed to happen. It's better than what we can even put into words, what DeMeco Ryans and this Texans organization has accomplished so far.
Rex Ryan made that point on Countdown. He said, I was a rookie coach. I had a rookie quarterback. It's hard to do. And
I had a rookie head coach in Jimmy Johnson and a rookie play caller. and a rookie quarterback and myself, and we won one game.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I know how hard it can be.
Yeah, but then you guys started having parades, so maybe this is the start of that for Houston.
True.
This was a hell of a start for essentially our playoffs. Look forward to seeing them next week. Joe and Troy, thank you so much. As we say so long to them, a look at that rookie coach and that rookie quarterback. C.J. Stroud left the joy of that locker room to join us here on SportsCenter. Thank you so much for taking a moment. And I think our viewers like me, we've never been in a moment like that. When you bust into that room after you win and you're in and everyone's losing their mind, what does a moment like that shared with the group feel like?
Man, it's words can't describe. I'm just so blessed to be a part of a great group of guys. And I can do nothing but just thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, man. We came out, we knew what we could do this season, and we're proving it, man. We ain't listening to outside noise. We locked into what we know we can do, and we came out, we got the dub.
I know you're a man of great faith, and I appreciate that, as it can give you calm in circumstances that aren't. But I'm interested just in the actual on-field calm that you showed on that drive where you took the lead. You're 7 for 7. You had some outrageous throws. The calm and the comfort in that setting, where does that come from, CJ?
I just think it comes from just adversity, just persevering through a lot of things that I went through. And God was preparing me through all that time just to get here to this moment and to lead his kingdom and his people. So I think that's kind of where it comes from. And I have a great support system that takes a lot of stress off me throughout the week just to focus on ball. And I'm just blessed, man. I think God put a lot on my life just to be in this moment, and I can do nothing but just thank him.
Number 12, Nico, was an absolute monster tonight. From the very first play, which is a touchdown for you guys, through that touchdown drive. How much of the game plan was just to feed him going into the game?
It had a lot to do with it. We know how special Nico is. I'm so proud of him. I'm telling him on the sideline, man. Words can't describe how proud I am of that guy. The work that he puts in, how consistent he is. And I just really appreciate him just being a good friend to me. But on top of that, man, you can't just say just me and him. Man, our line did a great job today.
Of course.
Our running backs did a great job. Our tight ends blocked, and our other receivers did great as well. So, man, this is a team effort. Our defense, special teams came up big. So, man, this is just all-around win. And me and Nico are just really thankful to be at the forefront of that, and we just want to keep this going.
CJ, I had this conversation with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman right after the game about your franchise, because you're in the playoffs. And from the outside looking in, it would be impossible to think that anything that happens from here, it almost doesn't matter. Like, the year is a success. But I realize in that room, I'm sure you're not like, oh, cool, we don't care if we lose or not. How do you avoid allowing this moment to be a finish line and instead turn it into sort of the starting point?
Yeah, we had a really big moment. I want to say last week against Tennessee, we had Robert Woods and Sheldon Rankins come up in a team meeting and just be real with us. And Sheldon and Rob just had great things to say. They've been on winning teams. Rob has played in the Super Bowl. Like, they know that we have what we need in our locker room to get that done. And we don't have that mindset, loser mindset. We're going out there to beat everybody, and we respect our opponents, and we respect this game, but we know what we can do, and we have everything that we need in that locker room, and we're gonna go try our best and try to stack wins and wins. It doesn't matter what our record is now, 0-0 in the playoffs, so we just needed our opportunity. We got it.
All right, let's have some fun on the way out. We're showing your guy Nico making catch after catch here. I know he's your guy, but I don't have to tell you where he went to school now, all right? And they're going to be playing in your stadium on Monday. If the school up north wins a national title, you know you're not going to hear the end of it. Like, are you prepared to deal with what comes with that if they win the national championship Monday?
I'm focused on what I got going on. Yeah, I'm not really focused on that. Me and Nico, actually, we have a truce he never beat us and I never beat them. So we don't really talk about it much. But, yeah, man, yeah, it sucks that he went there.
You finally answered a question honestly, and I appreciate that on the way out. Hey, listen, none of that matters. What matters is that you guys had to win tonight to have a game next week, and you did. You were tremendous, and I can't thank you enough for leaving that joyful locker room to spend a little time with us here on SportsCenter. You stay healthy and stay well, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. God bless.
Yeah, you as well. C.J. Stroud, a special talent right there, and the Texans, they're on a special kind of trajectory.